Welcome to a new edition of the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino. On this episode, we talk with the founder and CEO of Humboldt's Secret Supplies, Yousef Benhamida. He runs one of the top-selling plant nutrition brands in the U.S., a multi-million-dollar company that he built from his one-bedroom apartment with no investors, no degree, and no shortcuts. After burning out emotionally, financially, and personally, he hit a wall most people don't come back from. Then rock bottom became the blueprint for a total reinvention of his body, mindset, and mission. Today, he's not only a successful entrepreneur, but also a coach and life strategist, helping people rebuild from the inside out, especially men who feel stuck, lost, or like they're running on empty. And we also get into his book and so much more. Enjoy this interview. Well, hey, man, it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure, likewise.
So before we get into your work, I want to know this. 5 years ago, this pandemic was changing the world, changing all of us. How did you make it through the pandemic of 2020, and how did it change the way that you do things now?
Yeah. I mean, so I was one of the fortunate ones of the pandemic. If I could happen all over again, minus if it was actually real, people dying from it, it definitely affected my life. In the better. I was, like I said, and it was hard because I couldn't really tell people about it, because when I did, I could just, some people, I just remember being on a date with a girl and I was telling her, like, oh my God, I can't believe what's happening. And I could, they were kind of like they were not happy for me. I don't know if those are the right people to be around in general, but that was like I had a problem partying, going out, drinking too much. I couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So that completely the bad, drinking too much and partying I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And then my business took off because I was in e-commerce and home and garden. So it was just money was just coming in, and all my bad habits, I couldn't do it anymore. So I talked to this one guy I know who's very religious. He's just like, God, the pandemic happened because God wanted to help you. And I didn't believe it, obviously, but I was like, yeah, this is like a perfect event for me. So other than the agony of not being able to even find a tennis court or go outside, that was like a real problem. So yeah, that was kind of the pandemic for me in a nutshell.
So let's get into what you do exactly right now as the CEO, your work. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds at career day, and the kid in the back of the room is like, hey, what do you do for a living? How do you answer him?
Yeah. So I basically just make products and persuade people to buy them, or put them in a position to make them available for people to buy them. I make them. I've created these products from scratch: labels, names, mixtures, formulas. I have a manufacturing warehouse on a auto filling line with machinery that I've bought and somewhat designed. And, so the products get made on a line and by people, and then I kind of figure out how to get people to buy them. Or, like I said, put them in a space where people can give me their money in exchange for them.
So let me ask you this. What did you want to be at 12 years old? What was your dream gig?
Yeah. So when I was 10, I think about this all the time. So when I was 10, at least, when I was in fourth grade, I think I remember I wanted to be a professional baseball player, because I'd watch I'd watch baseball. And I remember this one teacher telling me, don't do that. Eventually I just didn't do it because the balls were really hard and people were throwing faster. So, I didn't know. I knew then. I think I started wanting to really be rich. And so I started eBay in 99 when I was 11. So then I started a snack stand when I was 12 and I was still playing baseball. And then I started just selling stuff randomly at school. So I was just trying to make money and do hobbies. So I'd sell skateboard parts at school and run a snack stand, like I said, in my little league, and just anything you could do, dude. So yeah, it started off being a professional athlete I wanted to be. And then my parents didn't back it, because to be a professional athlete, it's pretty difficult if you don't have your family backing you. So then I just think I transitioned to maybe hoping I'd make some money someday.
Yeah. So what gave you this entrepreneurial spirit? What was going on in your life that gave you this idea to sell and to make money and obviously to be successful like you are now? How did those seeds get planted?
So yeah, I was youngest of four boys, and I wanted stuff. And I couldn't get it. My mom wouldn't, they wouldn't buy it for me. And I got the most stuff out of all the people. They said I was, the spoiled kid. But I still didn't think I got a whole lot. And four kids, and I had one working dad at Intel who was like, I came over from Algeria. So there's only one income, four kids, a mom. My mom was cutting coupons, and my like there were fights over nickels and pennies sometimes. I'm not saying we were poor, but it was not like we could do it. The odds of me becoming a professional athlete would have been significantly higher if my family had a tremendous amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know professional athletes today that are no more talented than me, but they certainly had a lot more family backing and money to put behind them. So maybe one day when I have kids, I'd like to have enough money to be able to back that if that's what they want to do. Maybe that's a desire, to be able to give my future kids one day the life I wasn't able to do it just because there weren't enough numbers in my bank account.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Who was your hero? Who's been that inspiration that's allowed you to become who you are
Yeah.
today?
So there's not one in particular.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say one. You pick good aspects from everybody. It seems like a lot of the people have very lopsided lives. One person who's really good in one thing isn't necessarily good in another. So you just try to take the best attributes of everybody out there and kind of turn them into something. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So as far as entrepreneurs are concerned, who's an entrepreneur that you look up to, a business mind that maybe you would
Yeah.
like to meet and talk to that might help you on your journey?
Yeah. So, yeah, business mind me and talk to. I don't know. I'd probably not want to do it. So a lot of them, somebody who didn't just get super lucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of these people got really, really, really lucky. Like they just got like they didn't really have like super. It wasn't necessarily a lot of work over a tremendous period of time.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just got lucky. Like I know guys who just got lucky. A lot of these kids, some of them that you see on the internet that they started companies. I'm pretty sure that they just got super rich because obviously they worked hard and they were timing right, but they got hit the Facebook ads. They got in when, and everything was set up when Facebook ads was cheap. And I got in when Facebook ads was cheap, but my stuff wasn't dialed in, set up, and I didn't know a lot of stuff. Some people were just so set up, and then boom, Facebook ads comes around, and you just the return you get, or when one of these things happens, and they do happen. So probably somebody who didn't rely on just like some lucky event. But even if you do have a lucky event, a lot of things can happen where you can lose stuff. So um, I don't know if I could just talk to one person. I don't know. That's a tough question. I've talked
Yeah.
to a lot of people.
Sure.
So I honestly don't even know if I need to talk to any more people. I feel like I already know what I need to do, and it just it's kind of a lot of work and it takes time.
Yeah.
So
Certainly. So let me ask you this. What's the biggest risk that you've taken as an entrepreneur? When you look on your career, risk is totally a part of the process. What's the biggest one you've taken?
well, you could say so. So I guess risking everything I had, but I didn't really have that much to risk. So, but if you look at it by like a number standpoint, you're risking 100% of what you have, but it doesn't matter because you don't really have that much.
Yeah.
So, the biggest risk or biggest fear, one of them, but one of the most freeing moments was when I just dropped out of college I think it was my fourth year. And I just walked in and I just dropped out of college, and it was pretty scary. But after that, I felt free. But then I was on the streets and had no money and no backing from my family anymore. So that was kind of now I got to climb the mountain a different way.
Yeah.
So that was difficult.
So let me ask you this. What gets you up every day? What motivates you to not only to
Yeah.
do good work, to deliver products that people will love, but to take care of your own soul? What's that motivation every day for you?
Yeah. So that's a great question, right? So yeah, so there are so sometimes I haven't gotten up there. I've had lazy spells for a long period where I slept in, I didn't do that much, and let's say things didn't move as much. So things that get me out of bed are like I've put things in motion. I've already put things in motion. I've already hired people. I already have this plan that I've been working on. And after I push all my directives and money and people doing everything in the system, then in the morning, I got all these things coming back at me. So
Yeah.
now I have to do something. Now I'm invested. Now I'm like, well, I have all these gears turning, and I've invested all this time and money already because of action I previously taken. Now you automatically get up out of bed. Like
Yeah.
you don't have a choice. Like you're like,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
God, I got all these things. And another reason is because, I this may not go for everybody, but I run into a lot of attractive women in my life. And, sometimes you need a lifestyle. Sometimes you'll lose out with women because you don't have a lifestyle that um, is what I would say even satisfactory, that you can welcome in that type of woman into your life. So I think some of it is, not having things work out with some girls in the past where I'm like, you know what, I really want to get to a level where that never happens again.
Yeah.
You know, not like I need these material items, but like the ability to welcome, some sort of person into your life and not like sweat vacation or getting them a car or something. Or it's pretty expensive, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight and ran into the 18-year-old version of you ready to go out into the world and to do it up, and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on this life you've lived, the wisdom you've gained, what advice would you give
Yeah.
that young version of you?
Yeah. So I wrote a book, and I wrote a book and I would say, read my book.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote the book. So I could get, so I wrote the book. I finished it like when I was 30, a year or two ago. I think I finished it like a year ago. And so I wrote it because that's kind of like, hey, here, read the book. I can't probably say everything, but it's like, look, I can pass on a lot of things you got to watch out for, you
So
know?
yeah, so talk to me about the book.
Yeah. So the book is called $1 Million Hot Girls in a Ferrari. And it's just a story of wanting $1 million. I think it was like $1 million in a year too. What happens when you go after hot girls and when you have hot girls in your life. And just the Ferrari was, I guess, just like I don't know why I put it on because everybody wants a Ferrari. So all the guys starting out at 18, 99.999% of them are not going to have it, and they probably will never have all three.
Yeah.
Of course, beauty is dependent on who they are. They could say whoever, but they're probably odds are they're not going to get all three. Maybe I don't know the percentage on it, but so seemed seemed like all the desires of young men, like money, chicks, a Ferrari.
Sure, sure. So let me ask you this. Of everything that you've done up to this point and evolved to, what are you ultimately the proudest of?
Hmm. I don't know. I feel like I'm really happy. I played tennis past couple of days. I'm pretty proud of my tennis strokes. I can actually hit the ball pretty well. So yeah, if I wouldn't trade how well I can hit a tennis ball for $1 million.
Okay.
Or I don't even know the number quantity. Uh, I don't even know if I could get paid to never play tennis ever again. Now, if you play too much tennis, it's not that great either. But if
Right.
I could never play tennis, I don't think I would take a billion. I don't know if I would take $1 billion if I could never hit a tennis ball.
Well,
So the cool thing is that once you get a little bit of money, you know, you kind of can get a little power over money because you're like, well, I like tennis more than money. And then also when you start, preferring things over money, sometimes it's like money will come more to you. It's almost like when you don't want girls that much and you're out, girls want you more. You want girls sometimes too much, you push them away. You got to let the cat come to you. So
yeah.
so yeah, I would say my tennis strokes. I'm actually
Okay.
pretty because I can hit the ball as good, pretty like on like I can hit it pretty good, like a professional quality. So um yeah, that took a lot of time and pain and suffering over a very long period of
Oh yeah. I'd
time.
imagine so.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. At the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you. Family, friends, clients, everyone that knows you, that works with you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Yeah, so I asked everybody who works in my place. I was asking for a blind survey to know what they think. So I'm always constantly kind of questioning. I'm not afraid to kind of know the truth. So I think some girls maybe have one opinion of me or another. They haven't met me. Some of my family members may be a little jealous. They've said, "Oh, you don't have any kids. You're young. You're moving around. You're doing this. I wish I had your life." Some people, I don't know. I don't know. Some people say I'm too nice. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So let me ask you this. I want to go back to the baseball thing. Who was your player? Who was your team? Who did you love in baseball?
Yeah. So you ever watch? Well, so I was born in 1987 in Minnesota on the street where the hospital is across from the Metrodome in Minneapolis.
Kirby Puckett, that whole thing.
Yeah. So I was born on the night of Game 7 across the street when they won Game 7 in '87.
Wow.
Yeah. So I always think like, oh, good thing they didn't lose the game. I was born, I'm meant to be a winner. But so the Twins were something I watched. But I mean, man, you remember the Braves back in '95? I was watching David Justice. I still remember when he hit that solo home run. And the Braves are super good. So I was watching the Braves every day on TBS in the 90s.
Yep.
That's what reeled me in. Yeah.
I know it well. It was that or it was the Cubs on WGN. One of the two.
WGN. Yeah, WGN.
You had to choose it. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You've traveled a lot. What is one of the most unexpectedly magical places that you've traveled to that you absolutely loved?
Yeah. So moving around, I'll tell you what. So I haven't traveled a ton. I'm starting to now, but I will say if I know Valencia, Spain, they don't really speak a whole lot of. Okay, so Valencia, Spain is a little bit cheaper. A lot of flies. It's humid in the summer, at least. That's when I went in. A lot of people don't speak English, so you'll feel like you're kind of alone if you only speak English.
Yeah.
I went to Mykonos recently, and that's like a world theme. So people were texting me when they saw us. They're like, "Oh, Michael Jordan's there with Vin Diesel and Bezos and all these big names." Like Mykonos, Scorpios, Mykonos, that whole scene, dude. From the hotel room, I got a water view. Boom, mega yacht, mega yacht, mega yacht, mega yacht. I was taking pictures, Chat GPT, because I was pretty sure. I was like, "Is this over $100 million?" They're like, "Yeah, that's a." It told me it was like 40 million, 100 million, 200 million, 300 million. But I'm talking ducks in a row.
Yeah.
So it was crazy to see that. But I'll tell you what, Sweden. Hopefully you don't go when it's cold, or Scandinavia, dude. I'm telling you, after you go to these countries, let's say you go into Sweden, right when you hit it, remember when you were like a kid in autumn, you're like 12, 13, Halloween, that fresh, life is no stress, and you feel like the air feels like I don't know if you remember like the feelings of like when you're a kid and freedom and like the weather.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens every time I've come into Sweden a few times or a couple times. And that's what it reminds me of. I feel like it's like the kid at autumn again, like that feeling that I personally don't always feel because of maybe the stress and the weight of this world as you get older, but it's cool. When I get to Sweden, I feel that every time.
Wow. So let me ask you this. If anyone wants to learn more, they want to reach out, any of the good business in your world, where's the best place to go?
I don't have a website. They could message me on LinkedIn. They could DM me on Instagram. I guess.
Okay, I can put all these links in the show notes. Man, this is great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You made it through like a champ. Thank you so much for your story, for your time. I appreciate it, man.
No problem.
Thanks for tuning in to another famous interview with Joe Dimino, where we cover the world of art, literature, business, spirituality, music, and more from around the globe. Our esteemed theme music was composed and produced by the great E.E. Pointer of Kansas City's River Cow Orchestra. If you want to hear more interviews, visit the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino channel on YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.